As teased in video number one with the one and only Mr. Dan Bird, we are going to break down the great rotation. Has it started? How big will it be? How much pain is coming? Mr. Dan Bird, we're going to take a look at the great rotation, specifically looking at the Mag 7. What say you?
Yes. So in 21, when the market was hitting all-time highs, and we talked about before, I showed how there was rotation out of aggressive sectors and into defensive sectors, even though the market was hitting fresh new highs every day or every week.
Yep.
And that's Wall Street getting ready for the big downtrend. So they
Mm-hmm.
were rotating out of those aggressive areas and into the defensive areas. And lately, even though some areas have been weak, the Magnificent Seven have really been carrying the market and moving it higher, even just on their own, almost. So I'm going to show the rotation, show you what that looks like, both in 21 and also right now. And then we'll step through each of the Magnificent Seven and just take a look at the charts, like we did in the first video with the market charts.
Yep.
We'll do that with the Magnificent Seven charts just to see whether they look
Awesome.
like they're breaking down also.
This should be
If they
fun. Let's
are, if
go.
they are, watch out below.
Watch out below.
So that's what I want to do. So let me share my screen first.
Okay.
For those that are interested, this is the website breakpointtrading.net. My YouTube channel is right here. I am almost at 700. I think I was like 696 or something.
Congratulations, folks. Do me a favor. Give that YouTube channel. Let's get them over 700. Let's get them to 1,000.
People. Just get 4 people to join. Well, let's say 304 people to join.
Yeah, there you go. 304. That's what we want.
304. But anyway, the link is right there for the YouTube channel. And then my newsletter is in this little box right here that I put out every Saturday. All right, so first I want to show the rotation. So for that, I'm going to use, not that chart, I'm going to use this one,
Oh,
relative rotation graph. You remember
I,
this?
I do. I love these charts.
Right. So what I did was I used a 5-year period and I put in just the aggressive sectors and the defensive sectors. So the aggressive are, let me go down here. So technology, of course, the NASDAQ, that's an index, but the sectors are technology, communication services, which are where the internet stocks are, and consumer discretionary. So these are things that we would like to buy, like new TV sets and a new car when
Yep.
we have discretionary income. And then the defensive sectors are staples, things that we have to buy, like soap and shampoo and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Utilities, which is a very stable sector typically, usually pays good dividends, and everybody is going to be paying their electric bill typically,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
even in a bad economy. And then real estate is the third defensive sector. All right, so this allows us to actually just see how these rotate. So this is right now, it's the time frame is December of 21. Okay. So if you remember what I said, this last month of 21, the market was hitting new highs. Retail
Mm-hmm.
investors thought it would go on forever. And at the same time, Wall Street was rotating out of aggressive and into defensive. So
Yep.
you can see right here, you can see the 3 defensive sectors right up here. There's utilities, real estate, staples.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Down here, you can see communication services, the internet stocks, technology, and discretionary. Technology over here, discretionary, and then the NASDAQ 100. All right, so I'm just going to move this into 22 and
Okay.
watch how the sectors rotate. You can already see it starting right here in December, even as the market was hitting new highs. They're already starting to rotate. But as we move to the right, you can see them now moving into the right-hand quadrant,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Look at that.
Defensive sectors. And notice the aggressive sectors down there moving down and to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we haven't even started January yet. January is when the market started to really decline. So right
Yep.
now the market is still going up
Hmm.
as this is happening. So that's December, middle of December right there, December 21st. So there's the end of December. You can see all of the defensive sectors are over here in the leading quadrant. And all of the aggressive sectors with technology making a beeline towards it are all over here. So that was the warning sign before the market actually started going down that Wall Street was positioning themselves for a decline.
Okay.
And you and I talked about this on our very first video on December 30th of 21.
Yep.
We talked about this rotation that was going on. So now let's take a look at where we are today and see if there's any similarities. Now, for those that get dizzy when they see flashing lights, you
Look away.
I want to close your eyes for a second because this can make you dizzy, but I'm going to move this all the way to today.
I feel like I'm watching a cartoon like Bugs Bunny or somebody run around in circles.
I know. All right, so now we are October, November. So look at all the aggressive sectors in November, moving up into the leading side.
Yeah.
Market looked pretty healthy, right?
Sure.
November, they're still up there. So now we're in the end of November, Thanksgiving. Now we're moving into December, beginning of December. Now you see the defensive sectors over here.
Mm-hmm.
Utilities, real estate, staples, and the aggressive sectors are starting to move down to the lower left. So that's just the beginning of December. So we'll continue to move. Now they're kind of switching places a little bit, and now the aggressives are still hanging in there. And so XLY is Tesla and Amazon. XLC is Google and Netflix. XLK is Microsoft, NVIDIA, and the technology stocks. So, and this is the NASDAQ 100. So you can think about this up here as the Magnificent Seven, essentially.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's what I meant, that Magnificent Seven is holding up the market. And I actually showed this in my newsletter at that time. I said, I have never seen anything like this before. Look at all of and I had all of the sectors on it at that point, not just these six. And every single one in it, not just the defensive, but all of the other sectors look like this too. They were all pointing directly towards the left-hand side. And the only ones up here were these three.
Okay.
All right. So if that didn't make it clear that Magnificent Seven was holding up the market, I don't know what would. All right. So here we are now at December 24th. So this is the day the Santa rally started. Mm-hmm. Now we're going into December 30th, 31st, New Year's Eve, January 6th. We're getting close to where we are right now. January 7th, January 8th, January 10th. That's Friday. So here we are Friday, and you can see the tails on these, so you can see the direction they've come from. So real estate utilities are heading straight over here, and staples is following along, and all of the aggressive sectors are now heading towards the left-hand side. Okay. Yep. Very much like 21, just about 3 weeks later than 21.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So that's what I meant when I said that. So this is a way to see what's going on under the covers of the market, the way that you can see what might be coming by looking at the rotation like this. Mm-hmm. So the next thing I want is to actually look at the Magnificent Seven. And for that, I'm going to use this trend model. So for subscribers to the website, I have trend models for indexes, sectors, and Magnificent Seven plus more. And those are the ones we're going to look at. So this is the trend model, basically short-term, medium-term, long-term trends. It shows you the dates when they changed. If it's highlighted, that means they changed this week. So Amazon and Apple got short-term down signals this week. Meta actually is the one that got a short-term up. Tesla got short-term down. Palantir, Eli Lilly, interestingly, got a short-term up signal this week. Okay. But I'm going to step through each one of these, just like we did in the last video with the indexes. Mm-hmm. I'm going to step through each of the Magnificent Seven. And what I want you to do is just get a sense for what the chart direction looks like. Okay. So let's see. There's Google actually hanging in there. Actually, let me show you one more thing. One more thing before I jump into that. And that is this. So this is how market cycles work. There's an accumulation phase at the bottom where it's been in a long downtrend, and then it just starts going sideways, bouncing up and down. Usually when it goes up, no, everybody is reluctant to get in because they got burned back here. So they sell. It goes up again. They still are reluctant. So they sell. And then it breaks through. And that's the beginning of the markup phase. Goes up, and the same thing happens at the top. So it goes across the top like that. And everybody thinks it's going to continue going higher because they're used to it going higher. So when it pulls back, they're like, oh, I'm going to buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And it goes up, buy the dip, it goes up, but it never gets any higher than where it was before. Okay. And then finally it breaks through, and that begins the markdown phase until it goes all the way down, and it goes through another accumulation phase down here.
Got it.
All right. So keep that in mind. Actually, here's the S&P. I actually drew, using this chart, I actually drew what the S&P looks like. So here's the accumulation phase. Here's the markup phase. There's a reaccumulation, markup, reaccumulation, markup. And now we're in the distribution phase. See how it bounced up and down, up and down? And now it's breaking down, and we could be beginning the markdown phase.
Okay.
Okay. Just like this.
Yep.
All right. So let's look at the Magnificent Seven with keeping that in mind. So if you think about that, this is Google. Here's the markup phase. There is the distribution phase. You see it?
Yep, I do.
All right, let's look at all the rest. Here's Amazon, markup, distribution.
Okay.
So just when you think about distribution, just kind of mentally draw a horizontal line across here and see where it breaks down and begins the markdown phase. Now, markdown phases don't go straight down. They go up and down just like the markup phase does. So there'll be a little rallies in between. So there's Amazon, there's Apple already breaking down. And the arrows on here, by the way, because this is on my website under the trend models, I put the arrows in where I think the exit point should be and the entry points.
Got it.
So I actually put them on the chart so people can actually see them on the day that it happens. So there's the, it looks like it's already starting to break down. There's Meta. So markup, distribution, markdown's coming next. Microsoft, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is clearly in the distribution phase, going up and down on a sideways channel.
Yep.
And if it breaks down here below 130, it's at 135, 136 right now. If it breaks down below 130, then it will begin its markdown phase.
Okay.
There's Tesla.
Okay.
Netflix. So look at that, Friday. Definitely broke below the 50-day moving average. There's AMD, which has been pretty sad.
Ooh, that's ugly.
Quite a while. And it just continued the last 2 days, just continued going down on AMD. SMCI, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. There's Oracle, another clear example. So here's the markup phase. There's the distribution. And now we're in the markdown phase. And it's accelerating to the downside. There's Palantir, which had been really strong. It came down, hit the 21-day, buyers came in. 21, buyers came in. 21, buy. 21, buy. 21, buy. And then it hit the top right here. And then it got to the 21, and there was a little bit of buying, and then it broke. It broke through. So that, where the pink crossed the blue right there, that's the 5 crossing the 21. That's the short-term down signal. So it finally, after all of this period, all the way back here, finally gave the first short-term down. And now it's broken down below its distribution phase, and it may be starting its markdown phase for Palantir. Arista Networks has actually been pretty strong. It's still hanging in there, but we'll see how long that lasts. There's Broadcom, also another clear example of the distribution phase, the sideways channel. It hasn't broken down yet, but getting close. And there's Eli Lilly, which broke down way back here, continuing going lower. So after looking at all of those, the conclusion that I would come to is the Magnificent Seven are no longer holding up the market and may actually be declining as well. And if that occurs, then the rest of the market is probably going to accelerate to the downside.
We will be paying attention to this each and every week. Do yourself a favor, go check him out, breakpointtrading.net. You must get his newsletter. It is free. And of course, we need 304 more amazing people to subscribe to his YouTube channel. He deserves to be over 1,000. Let's get him there. Dan, thank you very
And
much.
for anyone that is a subscriber, or if you want to subscribe on the homepage, this is where the subscription components are. I'm doing a Zoom call with all my subscribers next Saturday at 2 Eastern time.
Nice.
So anyone that is a subscriber, even if you want to join just for the free trial, you can still join the call.
Nice.
And all of those calls are recorded. So if you're a subscriber, you can go to the Chartless webinars and newsletter scan, and you can get all the previous recordings right there
That's amazing.
on the website. Plus a bunch of training that I did with you over here. This 3-hour masterclass was the July session that we did.
Yep.
23. So that's all out there.
Very cool. Dan, you're amazing. Take care.
All right. Have a good weekend.